In the heart of Omuka village lived Ívíe, a young girl whose beauty felt unreal. Men paused mid-conversation whenever she passed. Women hid their husbands at the sight of her. Young girls studied her walk, her smile, her confidence. They all wanted to be like her. Her name traveled far, to neighboring villages, across rivers, beyond forests. Men came bearing gifts. Some traveled for days just to see her, and Ívíe rejected them all. At her father's compound, suitors lined up. Hunters, traders, farmers, even a chief's distant relative. Some she declined politely, others she dismissed coldly. "You're not what I want," she often said. The number of rejected men grew. So did resentment. Each rejection sparked arguments at home. "Age is not on your side," her mother warned. "Beauty fades," her father added. "Choose wisely while you still can." Ívíe listened without fear. "I will not settle for less," she replied. "I want my dream man, not desperation." At night, Ívíe fantasized about the man of her dreams. A man who was strong, brave, and commanding. A man no one could intimidate. A man whose presence alone could silence danger. None of the men who came close matched the image in her mind. One afternoon, her friends visited her father's compound. As they talked, one asked quietly, "Why do you reject everyone?" Another sighed, "You're lucky. Men fight over you. We wish we were in your place." Ívíe smiled calmly. "I know my worth." One friend nodded. The other swallowed her jealousy. Days later, one of her friends returned, holding a basket filled with expensive beads and colorful wrappers. "One of your suitors sent this," she said excitedly. "He saw me on my way here and begged me to give this to you. He said he'll do more if you accept him." Ívíe barely glanced at the gifts. "Take it back," she said. "I don't accept gifts from men I won't marry." Her friend froze. "Take it back? This is every woman's dream. What exactly are you trying to prove?" "I said take it back," Ívíe replied firmly. "I want nothing to do with him or his gifts." The friend hesitated, then left angrily. Not long after, that same suitor confronted Ívíe on the road, in front of villagers and her friends. He begged her to reconsider. "Why do you keep rejecting me? Accept me, and I'll make you the envy of all women." Ívíe stopped and turned. "You are embarrassing yourself," she said loudly. "You are not my type. You are not even close to the man I want." Laughter followed. The man's face hardened. He walked away in shame. Her friends gathered around her. "That was rude," one whispered. "You didn't have to humiliate him." Another sighed. "You're lucky. We wish men chased us like this." Ívíe waved them off. "I will never apologize for knowing my worth. If any of you want him, you can have him." Then she walked away angrily. That night, the rejected man paced his hut. He repeated her words aloud, again and again. His anger deepened. When his friends arrived for their usual evening drinks, they noticed his unrest. After he explained, one of them nodded slowly. "You're not the only one she's treated that way," he said. Others were called. Each man shared his humiliation. Anger turned to bitterness. Bitterness turned dark. One of them spoke quietly. "Since she has humiliated all of us, let us destroy the pride she guards so fiercely." They leaned closer. "What do you mean?" "We will take from her the one thing she values most. We will ruin her name and leave her with shame. After that, no man will look at her the same way again." Silence followed. Then laughter. They agreed to watch her movements. They monitored her every move. The market, the stream, the forest path she used home. They waited patiently until one evening, Ívíe stayed late at the stream. As she walked home through the forest, unease filled her heart. The air felt wrong. She quickened her steps. Then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned and froze. It was the man she had humiliated publicly. Why are you following me? She shouted. Haven't I told you I'm not interested? He laughed bitterly. You think you can humiliate me and walk free? If you expect an apology, she replied firmly, you are wasting your time. Suddenly, other men emerged from the bushes, smiling darkly. What do you want from me? She stammered. One knocked the water pot from her head. It shattered. She tried to run. Hands grabbed her. She screamed, but the forest swallowed her voice. As they dragged her toward the bushes, a voice thundered, Leave her! A tall, well-built man stepped out of nowhere, dark-skinned, powerful, fearless. And if we don't? One sneered. Before he could finish, the stranger struck him down. The fight was swift, terrifying. Unable to withstand him, the men fled into the darkness. Ívíe stared, breathless. The strength, the bravery, the way he stood without fear. As he lifted her gently and carried her home, she whispered to herself, This is my man. When they arrived, she told her parents everything. They thanked the stranger deeply and invited him to stay for dinner. He smiled politely. I wish I could stay, but it's late. I will visit again. Then he turned and walked into the night. Evie stood still, watching him disappear into the darkness, her heart racing. That night sleep refused to come. She replayed everything, how he appeared, how he fought, how he carried her without fear. She smiled softly in the darkness. She had finally found a dream man. The sun was already high when Evie stared. She opened her eyes slowly. Then she smiled. A deep, soft smile, the kind that comes from inside. She sat up abruptly. Oh no, she murmured. I overslept. But even as she rushed to her feet, the smile refused to leave her face. She caught her reflection in a clay mirror. Her eyes were brighter. Her skin glowed differently. She touched her cheeks. Why do I look like this? She asked herself. And then his image flashed again. She shook her head quickly. No, no, Evie, stop it. But her heart betrayed her. In the compound, Evie's mother sat on a low wooden stool, sorting vegetables, humming quietly. She looked up and paused. Her daughter was walking differently. Ívíe greeted her cheerfully. Good morning, Mama. Ívíe, she said gently, her voice calm but curious. Come sit with me. Ívíe obeyed. Her mother studied her face, tilting her head slightly. There's something different about you this morning, she said softly. Not your usual face, your eyes, your expression. You look changed. Evie felt heat rise to her cheeks and looked down, twisting her wrapper nervously. I I don't know what you mean, Mama, she murmured, her voice quiet. Her mother reached out and placed a hand gently over hers. I know, she said softly, but a mother can see these things. There's a lightness in your step, a warmth in your gaze, like your heart carries a secret joy. Evie looked away shyly, trying to hide her smile. I, maybe, she whispered, I just feel happy. Her mother chuckled softly, squeezing her hand. Mm-hmm. That is different from your usual self. She looked at her mother, her voice barely audible. Mama, it's nothing really, just thoughts. Her mother shook her head, smiling knowingly. Anyway, her mother said, whatever is the secret behind this smile and glow, soon we will find out. Before noon, the story had traveled. Women fetching water whispered. Men at the palm wine joint argued. Did you hear? They say a stranger fought 5 men alone. For Evie? Of course. Who else? Some admired her. Some envied her. Some questioned her pride again. See what pride attracts, one woman muttered. But who was the man? Another asked. No one had an answer. That made it even more interesting. By afternoon, her friends arrived, one after another, excited. curious, loud. Evie! We heard everything. They sat her down like a queen being interviewed. Start from the beginning. No, from the party appeared. No, from the party carried you. Evie laughed, embarrassed. As she spoke, her smile returned again and again. One of them squinted. Wait. She leaned closer. Why are you smiling like this? Another added, this smile is love smile. They all laughed. Evie protested, stop it! But her cheeks betrayed her. One friend teased, so this is how love looks on someone who rejects men? Another sighed quietly. If a man like that saved me, I wouldn't sleep for days. Jealousy hung subtly in the air. One of them suddenly paused. Wait, she said slowly. What is his name? The laughter faded. Evie blinked. My what? We mean the man that saved you. Another friend pressed. What is his name? Where is he from? Who is he? Evie opened her mouth, then closed it. She frowned slightly, her brows knitting together as realization dawned. I. She hesitated. They leaned in. I didn't ask, she admitted softly. Silence. You didn't ask his name? One exclaimed. Evie shook her head slowly. I don't know where he's from. I don't know who he is. I don't even know his name. Her smile faded, just a little. One friend chuckled awkwardly. So you're glowing like this for a man without a name? Evie laughed lightly, trying to cover it. For the first time that day, a strange unease brushed her heart. Later that evening, Evie walked through the village path. People stared. Some smiled knowingly, some whispered, some bowed slightly, as if she had risen in status overnight. She held her wrapper tighter. Her mind wandered. Will he come back? Did he mean what he said? Does he even remember me? She stopped walking suddenly. Her heart skipped. For a second, she thought she saw him, but it was only the wind. She exhaled slowly. Days passed. Evie waited. Each morning she glanced toward the forest path. Each evening her heart raced at every unfamiliar footstep. But the man did not return. Her friends noticed first. You are extremely quiet these days, one said. You don't laugh like before, another added. Evie smiled, but it no longer reached her eyes. I'm fine, she replied. But she wasn't. Her mother noticed too. That evening, as Evie sat grinding pepper by the hearth, her hands moved, but her thoughts wandered far away. The pestle slowed, then stopped. Her mother watched her quietly for a moment before speaking. My daughter, she said softly, your body is here, but your thoughts are walking elsewhere. Evie paused. Mama, she said in a low voice, I am fine. I'm just tired, that's all. Hmm, are you sure? Her mother asked disturbingly. Yes, Mama, Evie said. Meanwhile, whispers began to grow in the village. Maybe he was a spirit, some said, or a wandering warrior, others argued. A man does not fight like that and vanish, an elder muttered. Evie defended him whenever she heard the talk. He is real, she insisted. He saved my life. But doubt slowly crept in. One evening, while returning from the stream earlier than usual, Evie heard voices ahead. She slowed, then stopped. The rejected men stood on the path, the same ones who had attacked her. Fear gripped her chest, but before she could turn back, another figure stepped forward. The stranger. This time, he did not hide. Evie's breath caught. You came back, she whispered. He looked at her for a long moment. Yes, he said calmly. I said I would. The men froze. One of them stepped forward. So you want to be the hero again? The stranger's eyes darkened. You were warned once, he said. I won't warn you again. They laughed nervously. You think you own her now? One sneered. The stranger stepped closer. No, he said, but you will never touch her again. The tension was thick. Then something unexpected happened. One of the men fell to his knees. "It wasn't my idea," he cried. "She humiliated us. We wanted to break her pride." The stranger looked at Ívíe, and for the first time she saw something else in his eyes. Not desire, judgment. "Ívíe," he said quietly, "go home." She hesitated. "Please," he added. She obeyed and left. Before night fully settled over Umuka village, the sound of alarm spread. People came out of their huts. Voices rose. Torches were lit. At the village square, the men were found, bruised, shaken, stripped of all pride. The elders arrived quickly, summoned by fear and confusion. "What happened here?" one demanded. None of the men could speak clearly. None could lift their eyes. They only muttered broken words about a stranger, a man who appeared and vanished like smoke. And when the villagers searched the paths, the forest, the stream road, the stranger was gone, as if he had never been there at all. That night, Evie could not sleep. The moon hung low in the sky, pouring pale light into her compound. She paced slowly, one end to the other. Her wrapper dragged softly against the sand as her thoughts refused to settle. Why does he always come and disappear without trace? Who really is this man? She muttered to herself. Then she heard a voice. Ívíe. Her breath caught. She turned sharply. He stood there, the mysterious man, under the moonlight, solid, calm, watching her. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. "It's you again," she whispered, almost afraid to blink. "Why do you always appear and disappear without warning?" Ívíe said, walking towards him slowly. "Are you a spirit?" He said nothing at first. He walked to a wooden stool and sat. After a moment she followed, her knees weak. The silence between them was heavy. Then he spoke. "You are not afraid of danger," he said calmly, "but you are afraid of truth." Evie frowned. "I don't understand." He looked at her directly. "You carry your beauty like a weapon," he said. "You use it to wound. You use pride to silence hearts." Her lips trembled. "That is not true," she said weakly. He leaned forward slightly. "Then why do men leave you smaller than they met you? Why do your words follow them like shame?" Evie's breath itched. "I never meant to hurt anyone," she whispered. "But you did," he replied. "Your words have humiliated and wounded hearts more than a sharp sword. And if you do not change, worse will come. Consequences. Heavy consequences." Tears spilled freely now. "I didn't know," she cried. "I only wanted to protect myself." He softened. Protection should not become destruction. It should not come at the detriment of other people's dignity and pride. She looked up at him desperately. "Who are you? Why do you care?" she asked. He stood. "I am what comes before the fall," he said. "A warning. A mirror." He stepped back. "Change before it's too late." His voice faded into the night. Suddenly, she gasped. Her eyes flew open. Morning light streamed into her room. Birds chirped. Her heart pounded violently. She sat up, drenched in sweat. She looked around. No stranger, no moonlight, no bruised men. Only her heart, only reality. Understanding crashed into her like thunder. It was all a dream. The rejection, the danger, the stranger, all of it, a warning. She covered her face and wept, not from fear, but from remorse. That morning Evie rose quietly. No pride in her steps, no sharpness in her eyes, only resolve. She went to her friends. They gathered, worried. She told them everything, the dream, the warning, the truth she had avoided. One by one, she apologized, sincerely. Her friends were stunned. "This is not the Evie we know," one murmured. "I don't want to be who I was," Evie replied softly. Together, they walked through the village, house to house, man to man. She bowed her head. She spoke gently. Some were shocked, some were skeptical, some were deeply moved. And slowly, the village began to whisper again, but this time with respect. Days later, returning from the stream, she slipped. The pot tipped. Before it could break, a hand caught it. Firm, steady. She froze, then looked up. It was him, the man from her dreams. Am I dreaming again? She whispered. He frowned slightly. Are you okay? He asked. The world stood still. She smiled. Yes, I'm okay. Let me help you with the water pot, he said, lifting the water pot on his shoulder, and they both walked side by side, slowly, along the dusty village path. You don't talk much, Evie said lightly, breaking the silence. He chuckled. I listen more than I speak. She glanced at him. That's rare around here. They both smiled. At the entrance of her compound, he stopped and gently lowered the pot. Thank you, she said, for the help and the company. He nodded. I should be thanking you, he replied, for letting me walk beside you. She hesitated, then asked quietly, have we met before? He smiled lightly. Maybe, he said, or maybe this is just the first time we truly see each other. Ívíe felt her heart race. He took a step back. I'll come by tomorrow, he added, if you don't mind. She smiled, this time without fear. I don't mind, Evie said, smiling. He turned and walked away. Evie stood there, watching him go with calm. Days later, the stranger returned. They spoke, they laughed, they walked many paths together, and in time, Evie married him. Not because fate once pushed him into her path, but because peace followed him wherever he stood. Love is not found in rescue, it is found in rest. What do you think made Evie truly change? Fear, love, or understanding? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if this story touched you. Subscribe for more powerful African folk tales.